Welcome back, Jiu-Jitsu 2 Jiu-Jitsu 2
Jiu-Jitsu 2 afternoon, everybody. Welcome back. Jiu-Jitsu 2000 here today. I'm back. Today I have an interesting video for you. Today I want to talk about another offering from Wowtac. This happens to be model W1. It retails for about $26. So I want to say thank you to Wowtac right off the bat for sending this product out for review. I'm very excited about it. I think this is going to be a really cool light. As you can see here, this is the W1 in cool white, and looking a little closer you can see the contact information for Wowtac. So with all that being said, I'm going to go ahead and get this started. So the first thing that we see when we open the package here is the owner's manual from Wowtac. It's a very simple, straightforward manual. And the information that I like reading is this page right here. These are the technical parameters of the light. Feel free to pause this screen if you want to save this information. But that pretty much gives you all the details and all the specs of anything to do with this light. Also right here, there's a brief description of how the light operates. And down below, there is some contact information in the event that you might be wanting to reach out to Wowtac for whatever reason. So the next thing that you see in the packaging is this little card here. And it's basically telling us that we need to screw down the tailcap tightly before use, that the light is in manual lockout mode, which I like that the light has that option. The next thing that we see in the packaging is 2 O-rings, and there's also a rubber cover that goes over the micro USB charging port for this light. So it's nice that they include those extras. We have some silica gel. So right here you can see we have a USB 2 micro USB charging cable included with the light. This is a cool thing because we can charge this light from home, from our wall outlet, our laptop computer, our little battery bank, or we could take it on the road, charge it on a solar panel or in our vehicle. So it makes the charging ability for this light very versatile. You can do quite a bit. The next thing in the package that we see here is a dual direction pocket clip. So I think this is pretty cool that they're changing up their pocket clip a little bit to offer dual direction. I'll show that a little bit here in a minute installed on the light, but it looks like it's pretty solid. And last but not least, we can see the W1 itself. There's a first look at the Wowtac W1. That is a beautiful flashlight. It's very small. On the back here, you can see if I remove that rubber, there's access to the micro USB charging port. That's where we would charge that light. So we want to make sure that we put that cover in place before we go around water. If you look at the bottom here, there's something new with this model that Wowtacs don't generally have, and they've included a magnet in the battery tube here in the tailcap area. And looking at the head of the light, you can see that we have a egg shell or a orange pill type reflector and a glass lens. Nice little LED inside. That's the XP-G2 LED, so it's a nice LED. Now if we twist this, you'll notice that it comes in 2 pieces. There's a good look at the head of the flashlight. Very nice construction. Looks like a really high quality build. And then looking here, the battery is kind of magnet stuck in there. So here we have a lithium ion rechargeable 16340 battery running at 650 milliamp hour, operating at 3.7 volts. It's a very nice battery. Comes included with the light. There's a look at the positive end of the battery, and there's a look at the flat end of the battery. So there's a good view inside the battery tube. You can see that it's a quality build. You can also see that the battery tube thickness is fairly thick, and not repeating myself, but there is a magnet down underneath that spring that the battery rests against. So it's a very nice looking battery tube. I like the knurling. There's that O-ring. See it lifted up there between my fingers? That O-ring is what gives this light the IPX8 waterproof standard. To install the pocket clip, we're just going to pop that right in that groove, just like so. And you can see that it's going to give us a nice deep carry option for this light. We can insert the battery by putting the negative down into the battery tube, and the positive is going to go towards the head of the battery. So we're going to put this baby together just like this, and as this battery tube threads onto the head of the flashlight, you can see that the head of the flashlight smashes that O-ring, and that's what creates that IPX8 waterproof standard down to 1.5 meters. Charging the light is extremely simple. We'll just remove that cover. Again, exposing that micro USB charging port, we'll plug the cable in, and what you'll see is this indicator here on the front will turn red, telling you that the battery is charging, and then when it's finished charging, this indicator will turn blue. If you see anything purple, it's telling you that you have abnormal charging going on. And while you're charging this light, you can operate the light in Firefly mode. Going through the modes and turning the light on and off, the operation of the light is very simple. It's almost identical to Olight. So if we push and hold this button down, you'll see that we're going to turn on to the lowest setting possible. This is Firefly. This is half of a lumen. And on this setting, the light will last for 29 days. If we want to cycle through the modes, we'll turn the light off, turn it on. You'll see that there is a blue battery level indicator. And as the battery gets lower and lower, that indicator will change colors. It'll basically turn red when you're running out of juice. So to cycle through the modes, we're going to push and hold the button down. Low, medium, high. Let's go down to low. Low is 12 lumens, and on this setting it'll last for 25 hours. Medium is 60 lumens. That'll last for 5 hours. Low, medium. There's high of 197 lumens. This will last for 1 hour and 58 minutes. If I double press, I'll get to turbo. 562 lumens on this setting for 1 minute. Then it drops down to 215 lumens for an additional 75 minutes or 1.25 hours. Triple click gives us a strobe function of 150 lumens, and it'll last for 3.5 hours of runtime. Single press turns the light off. This light has a memory function. It'll remember low, medium, or high. And since I was on high before I accessed turbo or strobe, it'll take us back to the previous setting of low, medium, or high. So for example, if I turn the light off, turn it on, you see we're back on high. Let's go to low, for example. Turn the light off, back on, it'll come to low. If we bump up to medium and then we turn the light off and come back on, it's back to medium, and so forth. If we go to turbo, let's say, let me do this again. If I go down to low, for example, and then I double press to go to turbo, and then I single press to turn the light off, the light will come back to low, because that was the setting that we were using previous to going to turbo. This memory will not remember turbo, strobe, or Firefly. Only low, medium, or high. Now there is a lockout function that this light has, and I just turned it off. If you're going to put this in your pack and you're going to go hiking or something like that, and you don't want the light coming on in your pack while you're on the trail, there's two ways of locking this out. One is turning the battery tube about a full turn and then pushing the switch. You'll see that right now we are in a manual lockout mode. But let's say we don't want to use that option. Let's say the battery tube is tight and we were just using the light, but we want to lock it out in the UI of the light. Then what we'll do is we'll push and hold until we get to Firefly. We'll let up, and then from Firefly we'll push and hold again until the light comes off. Now pushing the power button, you see the red indicator is telling us that we're in lockout mode, that the light's not going to work. Okay, to come back to normal operation and turn the light back on, we're going to just push and hold until we see Firefly, and then from there the light can work as normal. Low, medium, high, turbo, strobe, all that good stuff. So I think that's a really cool setting that this light has, that you can lock it out in two different ways. One of the coolest things that I like about this light is the availability of different 123 type batteries, or if you want to call them 16 340s. So this bottom row are non-rechargeable CR123 batteries. Different manufacturers, and it'll run on any of these batteries. Again, it's non-rechargeable, so you can't use that charging port on the light if you're going to use any of these batteries, but it will run on them. This top row are all your rechargeable batteries. Okay, these are the RCR123s or the 16 340s, and it'll run on all of these batteries with no problem. There's the battery that was included with the light. So I think that's pretty cool, the amount of batteries that you have at your disposal to run this light. Very, very neat. Right now we're looking at the side of the refrigerator, and you can see that the magnet on the light works just fine. No problems at all. That's a cool addition that they made. So if you're going to be working under the hood of your vehicle, or if you just need to hang this light off of something metal, it definitely does that, and that's a nice addition that they've made to these lights. The magnet is pretty strong too. It definitely holds the weight of the light without any problems. Let's take a look at that pocket clip. So you can see that it sits nice and deep, and we don't have any problems. You can almost hide that. I mean, it's just really, really effective. Nice deep carry. Put your shirt over it. You don't even know that I'm carrying it. So it's pretty cool. I like that a lot. Right now, you can see that I have a ball cap on. So I'm going to go ahead and turn the light on to, let's say low, for example. I can use this dual direction pocket clip to make it attached to the ball cap, so I can use it like I would use a headlamp. And then from here, I can use my hands and cycle through the modes. So that's a very cool option. The light isn't heavy. It's not bad. It actually works really good. Again, turn the light off, turn it back on to Firefly. Very simple. I can easily access the modes and everything. It's not heavy on my hat. It's very comfortable, and I think it works pretty good. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look at the IPX8 waterproof setting. I can put it completely under the water and the light works just fine. Push the button, it turns off. Push the button, now it's on low. You can see the power level indicator. So the light is definitely working. Cycle through the modes. There it is on high. Back in the water again. Let's take a look at the strobe. So that works pretty good. Turn it back on to high, back to turbo. Pretty cool. So it definitely passes the IPX8 waterproof testing with flying colors. The light works fine. This is half of a lumen, and on this setting the light will last for 29 days. That's a significant amount of runtime out of a small light like this. So this is a good setting if you're wanting to put it on your hat and use it as a headlamp, maybe to look down into your pack, be hands-free, or maybe you're looking for a cut or a splinter, looking at a wound, washing your hands, anything like that. It's a nice setting. But if you look off in the distance, I'm shining it at the camera, but if you look away, it doesn't really do too much. So let's go ahead and cycle through the modes. So this is low. This is 12 lumens. This is going to last 25 hours. And you can see the blue battery level indicator. So you can see a little bit what's going on. That's a decent amount of light. The camera doesn't really justify too much what the light's doing, but I can see plenty fine, no problems. But let's bump it up to medium. Medium is a lot better. This is 60 lumens, 5 hours of runtime. And you can see that it's got a nice little tight hot spot, and then it's got a little bit of a flood to it. And then of course, if we bump it up to low, medium, high, we're dealing with 197 lumens. This will last 95 minutes or 1.58 hours. Okay, so that's a pretty good amount of light. And then again, let's double press to get to turbo. Turbo is 562 lumens for 1 minute. Then it drops down to 215 lumens, or just slightly higher than high. And then from there, it'll last another 1.25 hours. And that's a lot of light for such a small light to put out. And it's working pretty good. Now, if I triple press from this point, it will get us to strobe. Strobe is only 150 lumens. It came down on the lumen level, but it'll last for 3.5 hours. So that's pretty cool. It's a very predictable strobe. It doesn't vary. It doesn't go fast and slow. It's just strobe. Some strobes, they go faster and slower, but this one is just the same strobe as it always has been. If I single press, the light comes off, and then remember, it has a memory. It comes back on to the last mode accessed prior to going to the strobe. Now on turbo, right here, 126 meters of throw, 4,000 candela, and don't forget that this light is impact resistant down to 1.5 meters. It's also IPX8 waterproof down to 1.5 meters, and don't forget about that battery level indicator. I think that's really cool. So this light, I like it. It seems to be doing very well. So here's a quick look at the W1 compared to some other smaller lights from Olight. Right here we have the S1R, we have the S1R Baton 2, and then we have the S1 Mini. Now of all these lights that I'm comparing it to right now, I think for specs and run times and things like that, I think these two need to step back, and these two would be probably the ones that would compete against each other. So the W1 versus the S1 Mini. And you can see that the S1 Mini is quite a bit smaller, almost 1/4 of an inch. Shoot, it's probably closer to 1/2 of an inch shorter. But the reason I would compare these against each other is because the S1 Mini peaks out at 600 lumens, and this one was 562 on turbo. So I think that would be probably the closest comparison. My final thoughts on this light are very simple. I think Wowtac really delivered on this light. I think it's exceptionally good. I really like it. The price point is very inexpensive, 26 bucks. And this competes with some of the small Olight S-series lights that are around the $60, $70 price point. So this is a fantastic light. I think it's going to be a very good entry level or a good budget friendly light for people. I love the versatility of the batteries. You can see in the night shots that it has a great pattern of light. I want to say thank you guys for joining me today on this video. I hope you got some good useful information out of it. Please feel free to leave your comments down below, like this video, share this video, and as always, thanks for stopping by. I hope you have a beautiful day, and we'll see you next time. Bye for now.